If you're stuck as an entrepreneur, it can be extremely painful. One of the worst things that you can go through, in fact, trying to turn things around and actually make a profit. Just kidding with that. I want to make sure that you're paying attention because we're about to share with you the one thing that basically all successful businesses do, that almost all struggling businesses don't do. The one thing that makes a difference, and I want to make sure that you can benefit from that. I was extremely fortunate because I managed to turn things around for myself using this one concept that separates almost all successful businesses from almost all failures. And I managed to go out, and before my 30th birthday even, I got to do everything that was on my list of things that I really wanted to do before I died. My bucket list, if you will, but I don't really like that term. I got to fly in a fighter jet and break the speed of sound. That was the thing that I wanted to do more than anything else. I got to eat at more than half of the world's 10 best restaurants, 3-star Michelin restaurants all over the world, incredible experiences. I got to buy a motorcycle with somebody that I was dating and ride up and down the coast of Vietnam, just like you see in Top Gear if you've ever seen that show. It was incredible. I've gotten to spend more time with friends and family. I've gotten to go on camping trips with them whenever I wanted. I've gotten to hang out with celebrities like Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20 on multiple occasions and even work with him. I've gotten to hang out with Lindsey Vonn, multiple-time Olympian. All of this was possible because of entrepreneurship. But the thing is, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about how you can use those same concept, that same one thing that turned my life around in your business. And I know you can because it's something that effectively all successful businesses do, but effectively all failing and struggling businesses don't do. And it's really not that difficult to implement. Yes, it takes work, but when you do that work, it's really not that difficult. And the thing is, it will make all of those same things possible for you because I wasn't even a millionaire when I did those things. Which means that you can do them and you can get those same results, or you can do things very similar to that in your business for yourself. And that's incredible. That's what we're going to share with you today. And we're going to go through and jump into that starting right now. So let me ask you this. Think about this. In your business, do you have a way to use the tools that are available to you? The media tools, the speaking tools, the advertising tools, whatever marketing tools you have. Do you have a way to systematically put those together and form a connection that matters with your customers? Or are you doing some variation of what I was doing when I got stuck, which is basically just showcasing your products? You're basically just showing them off, showing how great they are, showing what they might make somebody feel. Or are you using those tools systematically to create a connection? Because what I will say is that basically all successful businesses, they systematically use their tools, and there's a certain way that all the successful ones are using those tools to create connections and make them scalable, so that somebody doesn't have to be on the phone with the customer every time to make that connection. They use those tools together in a system that is scalable to make those connections over and over and over again. That's the core of this, and there's a specific way that they do it. So if you're not doing that, that's what we're going to dive into. And the thing is, we're going to dive into it right in the beginning of the free section of the book, because there's a lot to it in terms of how you do it properly. So we can just go ahead and dive into that and tell you exactly what it is and start working on it right in the free section of the book. This isn't a pamphlet. This isn't one of those annoying pamphlets that people are like, here's a free pamphlet. The book is long enough that literally I just cut off over 75 pages of the beginning of it and gave it to you for free. It's just the beginning of the book for free. That's what it is, and we're going to dive into that right away. And I'm going to show you all of the examples of it, including one of my favorite, how Fidel Castro, with 8 people, I know he's a dictator, let's forget that for a second, with 8 people, took over the country of Cuba using nothing more than a radio. He took over a country with a radio and 8 people. Why? because he was doing the same thing that successful businesses do. He was using his tools to systematically connect with people in a specific way. And if Fidel Castro can take over a country with it, then you better believe you can make a few $100,000 a year with it. He took over a country, an island country with tanks and fighter jets and planes supplied by the US. He took over that country with 8 people on a radio using the same thing that successful businesses do, that failing and struggling businesses don't do. And if he can do that, you can make a couple $100,000 a year. I can pretty much guarantee that. I mean, think about it. You would have had to be born in front of like a microwave or something to not be able to take what Fidel Castro used to conquer a country with the radio and take that same concept, the same thing that Coca-Cola and Google and Facebook and all these other companies are doing, to take that and at least be able to make a couple $100,000 a year. You'd have to be born in front of a microwave to not be able to do that. It's that powerful, it's conceptual, it's in common with all those businesses. It's not that difficult, but it just takes a little work. And we're going to dive right into that in the free section. Just straight into it.
And what is that one thing, you ask? Emu farming. They use 1/5 as much land as cattle, they're adorable, they're super friendly, and they fly.
What's that? They don't fly?
And they don't even fly. Their milk makes you fly. No, don't farm emus. Disregard everything he said. I know that many of you are struggling to start a business and make it successful, and that is having a massive impact on your life. I grew up in a small town where I had to struggle and fight really hard to get into Stanford University, where I got my master's and my bachelor's degree together in 4 years. Guys, wake up! This is critically important. Make sure you're paying attention. If you're struggling to start a business that is having an absolutely detrimental, incredible impact on your life, on your finances, on your relationships with friends and possibly family. I know that because I was there. For almost 3 years, I was incredibly stuck after having successfully run my first business. I had to almost declare bankruptcy within about a month or two, about 7 times after having gone to Stanford, after having read every business book out there, after having listened to all the gurus all over YouTube and etc. I knew everything that I should have known about entrepreneurship, and that didn't prevent that. And one of the worst things was a lot of my friends decided that I was a perpetual failure and a perpetual dreamer and stopped picking up the phone and responding to me. That is a visceral gut feeling that hurts and makes you feel worthless, and I don't want anybody to have to go through that. All of that was caused because I didn't understand one thing that is almost a universal truth between virtually every business that succeeds. And when I learned that one thing, that changed everything for me. Completely turned my life around. Because of that one thing, I wrote out a list of everything that I wanted to do before I died, my bucket list. And I managed to complete that list 3 years ago because of that one thing. That is how critical it is to learn what you need to do in order to make your business succeed versus failure. It is everything. From the time that I was a little kid, I just had this love for helping other people, for innovating, for creating, for contributing. And I had to do it all my own way, which some of my teachers loved and some of them hated it. I don't know what to say. But I had to have that freedom. So I was born to be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, as the French like to say. And when I say I used to be a curious kid, I used to take apart everything. I just wanted to know how the world worked. This used to be my parents' actual telephone. Whoops. Sorry, guys. But I can tell you that none of that made it any better when I got stuck. And I was stuck. Like, I could not get out of it. But that made me so much more proud now that I fought through that I learned the one thing that separates almost all successful businesses from all failing businesses, that I added that to all of my experience, all of my knowledge, the over $500,000 of advertising I've done and all of that testing. And then I got here where every bit of wealth, every bit of traveling, everything that I get comes from what I contribute to the world on my terms, my ideas, that I have that freedom and that I created it and that I get to help other people on a daily basis, on a large scale. I love how my friends introduce me to other people and the pride that they take in that. It is an incredible feeling, and I want that for you. Do you really want to be an entrepreneur like this? It's all I can afford to eat today. I better save the rest for tomorrow. And what it takes is a transfer of knowledge from me to you, a transfer of my knowledge and a transfer of my experience, especially the one major thing that separates almost all successful businesses from almost all businesses that fail, which you can absolutely do. And we're going to go into depth on that and other important keys to business in the free 75 pages of the book, which are full-length pages. It's basically a full free book that is starting this, that you can click through and start reading right now, and we will go straight into exactly what that one thing is. The most important thing is in the free section of the book. So please, I want this for you. Go through, do it right now, and start reading that, get started on it, and change your life. Because I guarantee if you engage with this, it will change your life. Here's the thing, guys. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't need to be. You see, when I was stuck for over 3 years, and I had this gripping feeling in my stomach at all times, this uneasiness, this tension, this just kind of queasiness, like tomorrow wasn't going to be okay. This feeling that made me not want to get out of bed in the morning, and honestly not even want to go to sleep at night. How bizarre is that? I didn't want to do either. This feeling that maybe for the first time in my life, after everything that I had succeeded in, I never thought that I was a failure until I went through this, and then I started to wonder if I was the failure. If maybe it wasn't what I was doing, but maybe I was just a failure. During that time, I felt like it had to be hard. I felt like it was just beyond me. You might feel that as well. But guess what? It does not have to be hard. The thing is, during that period of time, using all the people I know, the founder of Instagram, the founder of Chubbies, the venture capitalists, everything, all the books that I read, all the testing I did, over $500,000 of testing and advertising that you don't have to do, because I'm going to bring you what solved that problem for me. I'm going to give you that knowledge and that experience. I'm going to show you what I finally realized basically all successful businesses were doing, that basically all struggling and failing businesses are not doing. I'm going to bring you that one thing. Is it easy? Not exactly. Is it hard? Definitely not. It just takes a little bit of work. And it's conceptual. This isn't some too good to be true trick. It's a concept. That's why so many businesses are doing it and succeeding, basically all of them, because it's a concept. And I'm going to show that to you. I'm going to bring it to you, and then it doesn't have to be hard. You just have to implement it. But I can guarantee you that feeling that it has to be hard, that maybe it has to be this way, or maybe it's not for you, that's not true. It's important to understand that's not true. That's what I needed to hear. But I needed to not only hear that, I needed somebody to show me, and then I needed somebody to walk me through the examples where other businesses are succeeding with this, so that I could accept that. Because after I'd been beaten down that much and nothing worked for me, it was going to be a little bit hard for me to believe anybody. So we're going to walk you through those and show you what changed my mind, which I'm pretty sure will change yours too. Guys, the biggest thing that I have to say is please don't sit around trying to reinvent the wheel. Please. That's what got me stuck. Because I'm too smart, basically. I was too smart for my own good, or at least thought I was. My Stanford education, everything. I thought I could do everything better. I thought I could do it all myself. So I sat around trying to reinvent the wheel for over 3 years, and it wasn't until I started learning from other people that I saw the error in what I was doing. So please, don't go through your own hell because you're stubborn. Don't sit around going through that because you're stubborn, because you have to do it your own way, because you know better. You probably do know better in several ways, just like I did. And there's probably other ways where you should just learn from other people. It was one of the biggest things that I had to admit and try. So don't reinvent the wheel. Again, I'm just going to give you over 75 pages, and these are full-length letter pages. So this is basically, it would probably be like 150 pages of a book that you would buy at the bookstore. So it's basically a book. You get it for free, and again, it's enough information, there's enough value there that we just cut off the beginning. It's not like a weakened version, just cut off the beginning and just give it to you.
Why? You're going to see why, because it has to do with the same thing. It has to do with connecting with the customers. The easiest thing to do is just to let you try out the book. And it's long enough that we can just give you that amount of the book. You just get started on it. It's the easiest way to do this. And you're going to see as soon as you start reading it, why I did that, why that makes sense. But don't go and reinvent the wheel. Just click, just give us the email so that we can send you the beginning of the book. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just don't reinvent the wheel. Trust that somebody with a Stanford education, who's personal friends with the founders of Instagram and Chubbies and Revel Systems, over $100 million company that my friend Lisa Falzone started, with all this experience, with over $500,000 in ad testing, just trust that somebody who's done that might have something for you. Just might. Worst case scenario, you give an email, you get the free section of the book, and it's not useful for you. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario, you read it, and even what's just in the free section changes your life, changes your career. So guys, just click through, give us an email so we can send it to you, and just get started on it and see what you think for yourself. I know you're smart or you wouldn't be interested in entrepreneurship. I know you're probably stubborn or you wouldn't be interested in entrepreneurship. You're like me. But don't reinvent the wheel. Just give it a try. Just give it a try. That's what changed my life, and I really, really would like it to change yours and allow you to do all the same kinds of things that I got to do as a result.